Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is the day. Median XL 2.3 patch notes. This is going to be a long one, guys. I'm going to try and keep it as short as I can, but it's going to be a long one. Um, let's get right into it. Uh, Game, general, engine. So temporarily remove physical damage from extended stat screen as it wasn't accurately accounting for physical flat sources. For the time being, you can calculate your physical damage with D2 stats. Sure, fix the chance to get hit in the LCS during Monstats level. Yeah, so it was using the wrong formula. Sure, both formula now use the area level of the monster. Yep, as opposed to the current area level. Good, good. New features. Most melee skills can now be used with shift and without having to select a target. However, on-tack procs and healing will only trigger if the main swing lands on a target. Melee skills that benefit from this are a lot. As well as the following attack buffs are converted to buffs. Shadow Refuge, Conflux, Moon Call, renamed from Moon Strike, and Conquest. That all sounds good to me. Um, Lots of good improvements there. Monsters, goblins, reduced void spawn, glob, flea chance. Sure, Mephisto, fixed flashing circle arena, dealing damage inside itself. That's always nice. Increased density in the following zones to improve the leveling curve. That's always nice. And a bunch of these things: catacombs, rocky waste, dry hills for a lot of Act 2 areas, and yeah, just all Act 2 areas and one Act 1 area. Fair enough. Endgame quests. We're going to go right into it. I did look over some of these very briefly, but Cross 3000 reworked several areas to be more open and interconnected to reduce backtracking. Yes. Made a few sections more distinctive as to improve player navigation. Awesome. Any necromancers are located very close to the same old coordinates. Okay. 35% overall gain in enemies spawning areas. More enemies, it's going to be easier to move through. It's just like a great improvement for Cross 3000. That's awesome. High Heavens and Library of Fate added a small shrine bias. Awesome. Triune, same deal. Fozd, this is what I'm really happy about. Fozd Great Rune drop chances increased by 90%. So it's 1 in every 40 rune drops. Improved unique and rare drops as well. And shrine drops by 33%. Foz is going to be way better to farm, guys. It's awesome. Skosglen, the corrupted boxes have some changes. There's higher oil drops, add additional relic drop bias to Skosglen. That's cool. Unique and set drop increased, halved winter damage in snow areas. Oh, thank God. Increased tenant design drop chance by 40%. Hey, that's all fantastic stuff. Skosglen's going to be a lot nicer now. There's a whole bunch of lab stuff. We went over this in the preview, but overhauled the reward structure to make the zone more rewarding and give a better sense of progression. If you guys want to read this, go for it, but I never do lab. I never get into it. As well as some other stuff has changed with lab, but big overhaul for lab. So if we get to it this season, maybe I'll care a little more. But dungeons, Legion of the Damned. Soul Pillars have been slightly distanced some more to reduce occurrence of unintended AoE damage. Oh, that's awesome. Fixed a bug where rotted husks weren't spawning in the correct pattern on Wave 3. Soul Pillars were no longer spawn anything or give rewards if killed by Manorak's death. Awesome. That's totally fine. Yashari Sanctum, set pieces no longer have durability and no longer break. Yes. Now, I don't know if that's going to affect the set that we already have or not. We'll have to see, because we already have the set and I'll be playing on single player like I do every season. So I don't know if we'll have to farm the set again or not, but either way, that's great. Minor details, additions to improve players' sense of orientation on all stages, and like better visibility and simplified sections so the mazes are easier to run now. It's just great improvements to Yashari. The actual fight is still just as awful, I'm sure, but at least getting the set and everything is not as bad. Astroga completely reworked the boss fight while keeping to the theme of the original and being lore friendly. No longer extremely punishing for melee characters. Removed one-shot debuff mechanics. Thank you. Split into 2 phases. The Cunning Spider has one final trick when near death. We'll have to look a little more into it once we get to Astroga, how the fight has changed. It now has a 5-minute lockout timer, and because of the increased duration of the fight and the lockout, the minimum roll was put 200 from 100. That's totally fine. Which Namir's Light re-envision the map to reduce details, density, and improve visibility because there's a lot of random clutter and stuff on it. It's hard to see, so I like that. Reduce the area surrounding the entrance's portal. Okay. Invasion 3 removed the change introduced in patch 2.1, causing the boss to rarely gain avoid when hit. Increase the number of rift storms in the area. Okay, so it loses the avoid, but there's more storms. That's fair. Void. Gluttony has reduced regeneration in the middle of the zone. Okay, Lilith reduced poison spray damage. Fair. Aldi removed super unique property from bosses that had it, making them very resistant. Cool. Rebalanced health and resist from mini bosses. Reduced Jazrith and the deceived AI delay. Just means getting to Aldi is going to be a lot better. I think that's totally fine. Demos were never, once again, we're not going to do lab. So move the change introduced in 2.1, causing the boss to rarely gain avoid when hit, and rebalance the optional difficulty modifiers. Cool. Characters. So as far as this stuff goes, the big stuff is Yashari and Astroga being changed big time, especially the Astroga being reworked. I hated that fight. It was just like undoable on some characters for me. The Foz change and the Cross 3000 change, I like those a lot. And I guess for people who like Lab, this is a good improvement here. So Miscellaneous, Sky Siege, Tantrum, Disco Inferno, and Witchwind, using any of these skills in your Deimos or the Ascendant Riftwalker, cause all nearby enemies to gain 66% chance to avoid damage for a short time. Why? Were they just too strong on him or something? I don't know. That's strange. These are, like, Sky Siege and Tantrum are the melee bow skills. I'm not sure why. Amazon, here's the good stuff. As you know, we're gonna play Amazon this season, so at least for the first character. Fixed Static Frenzies and War Spirits buff icons. Okay. Blood's got a buff. Base missiles is upped by 2. Mana cost reduced. Reduce base mana cost of Bloodstorm and increase the targets by 1. Balefire, and everything's just down 5 levels. Yeah, so just an overall buff to Blood that seems good. Stormtree had a complete rework. So there's some ups and downs here. We'll get to that when we get a little further down. But the Stormtree has been divided into 2 separate subtrees, a caster tree using Storm Call and Ascaria Lightning, and a weapon damage tree with focus on Hammer of Zeray. Can only use one subtree or the other. No longer compatible with melee devotion. That sucks. That sucks big time. I really don't like that. Thundercrack removed completely. Yeah, I was asking, like, is Thundercrack still going to be the single target for the build? It looks like it's just going to be Hammer of Zeray if you're going Hammer build. That's your only skill. So we'll have to see. Magnetic Field also removed. Thunder Maiden was renamed from Asterism. Now it's the level 1 skill. It adds 3 max damage per base level, down from 4, but adds an additional 0.5 max damage per soft and base level. So it's the soft levels now will make it give you a lot more damage. No longer receives defense bonus from points in Hammer of Zeray, but has defense bonus per level increased from 7 to 9. So it's increased defense and no longer adds dexterity. Okay, that's fine. It's because I don't know if the weapon damage version of the build even uses dex. Hammer of Zeray is now level 2 skill, requires Thunder Maiden. Increased hammer area of effect, reduced visual spam, now scales with attack speed, now converts 50% of physical to lightning. Weapon damage is now 180%. Bonus lightning damage now 20% per base level in itself rather than Storm Call. So you don't need to go into Storm Call anymore because they're separate. Increased additional physical and lightning damage scaling above skill level 17. Awesome. It's just a much more powerful skill now. Cool. Bigger AoE, and it scales with attack speed. Power Shift, new level 10 skill requiring Hammer of Zeray, throws an additional 2 hammers, but they all travel shorter distance, ideal for concentrated damage. So this just gives us extra hammers. This way we're doing 3 hammers every time we cast it. This is our single target thing, basically. So we have the base hammers and the Reckoning here that we'll get to in a moment for AoE, and then the power shift here looks like it's going to be the single target. Reckoning of Zeray, new level 40 skill, upgrades Hammer of Zeray and Power Shift, adds a chance that hammers will bounce once they are destroyed, end of traveling or hitting a wall. Hammers will bounce to the cursor location at the time of first casting the skill. So even though we're using hammers, we still want to put our cursor on top of whatever boss or enemy. So that's nice. It adds a little bit extra to that. Hammers explode, dealing 100% lightning damage and hitting multiple times. So this is going to help with our single target as well. Chance to bounce is 10% per base level for Hammer of Zeray and 3% per base level in Power Shift. I am fairly certain that this will be able to add up to 100%. It's very close, I'm sure. It'll be... Yeah, it should easily be able to hit 100%. I don't know how many levels we'll be able to put into Hammer of Zeray, but usually a base skill like this is 20... At least 20. I guess we'll see when we get game. And now the other half of the skill tree. So that's the entire, if you do the weapon damage side, that's all of it right there. Storm Call, now level 2 skill, requires Thunder Maiden, so this is the caster variant. Now scales with energy rather than dexterity. No physical damage, increased starting damage, and damage in early levels. Ascari Lightning is now level 5 skill, reduced base mana cost, fixed and accurate damage formula. Cool, now displays damage in tooltip. Base damage from Storm Call increased from 300% to 330%. Conductivity, new upgrade skill available at level 50 for Storm Call, which gives it a chance to proc Ascari Lightning, gives 0.5 per base level, and it's 7 levels. Meaning that you'd probably want to do specialization in this case to get this higher, because you want those extra procs. But that just means as you're casting Storm Call, you'll get Ascari Lightning procs on top of it. If I remember correctly, Storm Call is your AoE, Ascari Lightning is your single target, so this just adds extra stuff. Discharge is now level 25 skill, revamped skill into a buff, now casts periodically, now that's misworded, now periodically casts thunders at your foes, making them more vulnerable to your lightning damage. So it's emits a thunder every 7.4 seconds, so it gets down to 1.4, so it's cast thunder. I wonder if this is like the thunderstorm skill from Lightning Sork in vanilla, if it works like that, or if it's like shoots out a line. We'll have to take a look at this. And resistance, new level 75 skill, provides stats based on the storm path chosen, so 30% block speed and then 1% base block per base level if thunder path, or 1% max block per base level if the hammer path. So I believe the second half of the Javelin stuff, the War Maiden passives, I believe those can be taken. I don't think those are blocked out, if I remember correctly. So we can still do those War Maiden passives on top of this stuff. I'm pretty sure. No changes to Divine. Bow got a bunch of buffs. So Barrage is better. The flat damage on Barrage is significantly buffed. There was a bug that was reducing it, which is why we were having so much problem with the Leech. And I was wondering why there was no Leech. It's because the flat damage stuff from Barrage was just not calculating properly, I'm pretty sure is the problem. New bonus damage formula scales quadratically with skill levels. Maximum base levels reduced to 5, but will now scale with Elemental Command to prevent excessive flat damage at the leveling stage. So it's around the same damage, but early on, you're not going to be able to take a ton of levels to get that flat damage up crazy high. Trinity Arrow no longer has Fizz, and adds Trielli. Base level reduced, same deal. Weapon damage increased. Elemental Command now increases Trinity Arrow and Barrage maximum base levels. Okay. 1+1 base level per 4 character levels. Okay. So as we get more Elemental Command, we can put more points in. That makes sense. Worm Shot is, I still hate it. Keen Sight maximum base level reduced by 3. So basically increased target seek range equivalent of 3 points in keen sight. So the max is reduced by 3, but you basically are starting with equivalent of 3 points in it. So that makes sense. Just you have to invest less points to get the range. Phalanx weapon damage now 150 up from 140. No longer has a cooldown. That's cool. Fire at Will now increases attack and move speeds while Phalanx is active. 5% per base level and 10% per base level. That's really cool. I'm sure Phalanx is a much better build than the rest of this stuff now, so. Javelin got nerfs across the board. Lower damage on everything. Exposed weakness is a curse now, so you can't stack it. Yeah, Jav was pretty busted, so this is expected. Great Hunt reduced Clown Fiesta. I think that's just talking about the clutter on the screen from Great Hunt is being reduced. Assassin. So yeah, that looks like it's about it. We're probably going to play Storm. I don't know if we're going to do caster or weapon damage yet, but we'll take a look at it. And Assassin. Shadow Refuge. Fixed a bug that caused it to not be affected by continuity. Cool. It wasn't being affected by continuity, but now it is. Gains 1 second extra duration per base level, tripled mana cost, added burst of speed overlay instead of glitchy color palette effect. Queen of Blades reworked mechanically. Now leaves stationary spinning blades after hitting an enemy instead of bouncing. Blade traps last for 2 seconds and hit multiple times. Now checks AR. Weapon damage increased. Delay between volleys increased. Shred. Blade scaling now 4+1 per base level, down from 2+2 per base level. Okay. Claw. Noctool had improved area of effect. Way of the Griffin. Base Pierce increased. Reduced damage in early levels, but increased damage in mid-late game. Winged Calamity max level now 10. Okay. Throwing got a total rework or big buff. Way of the Spider. Base Pierce increased. Damage increased. Increased early level damage, now adds 2% poison spell damage per level under 100. Scorpion Blade, now a level 6 skill, fully reworked due to multiple issues and unnecessarily complexity with scaling. Knives now explode instantly in a radius after hitting, however old Poison Cloud visuals were maintained. Starts at 2 knives, now scales based on Way of the Spider damage, multiplied by spell damage, no longer scales with spell focus and energy. Knife count synergy, now based on base levels rather than Queen of Blades level. Awesome. Now detonates twice for better area of effect coverage and damage. Increased area of effect. Blades now have ND, greatly improving their spread. Not being all tanked by a single fat enemy. Cool. Lethal Incision now level 15 skill, rework damage numbers, also increases skill duration to Scorpion Blade. So yeah, the Lethal Incision is a passive that you toggle on that removes all of the extra knives from Scorpion Blade and just gives you one really powerful knife, and this one reworked the damage numbers. So cool. Storm Crows, reduce base mana, increase early level fizz, primary knives before homing, travel faster and trigger quicker. Homing knives now have a greater hitbox for better accuracy and travel further. Cool. Witchwind is a level 20 skill now. Always explodes when it reaches the end. Knife size increased again for better, for hitting easier. Weapon damage reduced. Now properly checks for attack rating. Fixed vulnerability duration tooltip not accounting for continuity. Cool. APF 20 is now level 10 skill. Broadside is level 30 skill. Void Gazer, doubled maximum block chance bonus. Okay. Naginata, Way of the Phoenix, Pierce increased in early damage, nerfed, but okay, yeah. Crucify, damage increased by 20%. Laser Blade, damage based on dexterity per level, increased by 40%. Cool. Naginata buffs. Fortress Hegemony block speed bonus now 25%. I think that's a nerf. Increased damage by 10% and base damage by 20% for Incineration Chap. Yeah. Reward skills. Vampiric Icon reduced size to reduce clutter. Okay. Prismatic Cloak now adds block speed per level. Cool. Way of the Raven is a new one. New level 90 ultimate skill replaces Phase Bomb. Hell yes. I'll have to take a look at that. That looks cool. I wonder what the bonuses are going to be. Maybe it's like a fizz scaling option because it's a new passive, just like the other ways. Maybe it's cold damage actually, because we have Way of the Griffin for Way of the Spider for poison, Way of the Griffin for lightning, Way of the Phoenix for fire. So maybe it's Way of the Raven for cold. That would make sense. Barbarian Nomad Lion Stance fixed synergy string. I don't know. Snake Stance increase early game design. Early game damage, late game damage unchanged. Eagle Stance, maximum innate elemental damage is now 30 up from 20. Cool. Wolf Stance, crushing blow, synergy tooltip fix. Spirit Guide, fix a bug. Defense scaling with points in Shamanic Trance instead of base levels. Renamed to Woven Guide. Okay. Tectonics, new passive skill. Your earthquakes occasionally trigger a shower of rocks, bypassing cooldown. Chance is 1% per 230% weapon fizz damage. Weapon fizz damage requirement is reduced by 10% per base level. Requires Heart of Stone. Requires level 110. Max base level is 5. Interesting. It's going to add extra single target, I guess, because it's going to be a shower of rocks that is ignoring cooldown based on your earthquakes. So that could be cool. Thunderstorm weapon damage now 200, so 50% buff. Wow. Lightning bolt area of effect increased. Movement speed bonus increased. Cool. Iron Spiral reduced mana cost, no cooldown. It looks like all of the skills that had a cooldown and then a passive skill to remove the cooldown, they've just removed those passive skills from the looks of it. Added a base level synergy, bonus lightning damage increases quadratically with base levels. Sick. Galvanism, new passive skill, upgrades Iron Spiral and Thunderstorm. Iron Spiral maximum level increases by 1 for every 3 character levels above 90. Thunderstorm inherits Iron Spiral bonus lightning damage and then doubles it due to weapon damage modifier. Requires level 93, maximum base is level... maximum base level is 1. That's a cool passive upgrade for Elementalist. I like that a lot. Whirlwind now gains 25% weapon physical damage bonus per level. So 5% per level up on Whirlwind. Just a nice damage boost. Warmonger, Snakebite. Damage at level 1 increased by 6 times. Damage at endgame increased by 5%. Increased minimum damage to be closer to the maximum. Cool. That's good for poison, more consistent. Change the way endgame character level influences damage. Character levels above 130 will now add significantly more damage compared to before. Previously, going from level 130 to 150 would increase damage by about 9%. Now it'll increase it by 52%. Cool. Stampede no longer has a cooldown. Projectile count now fixed at 12. 2 flat fizz per skill level, max at 56. 56 points or 56 skill levels? Probably 56 damage at 29. Is that right? Something like that. This damage scales with your weapon fizz damage. Cool. Now has a synergy which increases this damage by 10% per base level. Weapon damage increased by 10%. Stampede, much better now. That's the fizz throw, I believe. Snakebite's the poison throw. Warmonger's the throw build. Violence reworked skill now grants a short duration buff after using Stampede. Grants Deadly Strike and innate elemental damage for 0.6 seconds. Deadly Strike is 2 per base level. Innate Ele is 4 per base level. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe this one's for Tri-Ele? I don't know. That's weird that it gives innate Ele damage on a weapon, on like a flat fizz. Maybe it adds this flat fizz for Leech, just because if you're with this, if you're using an elemental base. Are there even elemental throwing bases? I don't know, man. I've never played this build, so honing new passive skill, upgrade Stampede. Weapon damage modifier increases by another 10%. No longer gains bonus physical or magic damage. It will also increase your Snake Stance damage by 25%. Okay. Card level is 50, max base is 1. Fortress fixed a bug where the skill was dealing significantly less damage than intended. Weapon damage reduced. I guess they upped the weapon damage to account for the bug. Now that they fixed the bug, they lowered it again. Effective damage per second has more than doubled compared to previous patch. Yeah, okay. So they lowered the weapon damage down to 100, but it's still way better. Shaman. Ancient Spirits, maximum base levels of Spirit Summons reduced to 20, down from 25. Synergy bonuses have been increased accordingly. Fixed inconsistencies between bonuses granted by stances to players and ancient spirits. Cool. Guardian Spirit now throws an extra axe on every difficulty. Projectiles changed to axes. Spirit Walk now requires character level 25 to learn, down from 30. Now instantly heals a portion of your maximum life. Base life healed is increased. Range is down, but increases more. Mana cost is down. Cool. Shamanic Trance is now passive. Max base level is 1. No longer grants additional maximum spirits per base level. Now gain +1 maximum spirits at player levels 20, 40, 100, 140. Completely rework the other stat bonuses granted by this skill to make them scale better in the endgame and simplify their logic. The life bonus from base strength is now multiplicative with minion life bonuses instead of additive. Yo! As a result, minions are much more durable in the endgame, and stacking minion life on gear provides much better returns. That's awesome. The life and damage bonuses from skill levels have now been moved to base level bonuses on the minion skills. Okay. These bonuses now stack linearly with minion life damage stats on gear. Their values have been greatly increased, therefore they are very powerful early on, but points can be freed up in the endgame for well-geared characters. Interesting. The damage bonus from base strength is now multiplicative with minion damage based on minion damage bonuses instead of additive. Awesome. As a result, high investment in minion damage gear in the endgame will result in higher damage output compared to before. Bonuses from base strength now cap at 600 and have been scaled accordingly in order to give more freedom in stat allocation. So for Summon Barb, you used to go max strength to scale it, and now it's capped at 600. But that's still like you go to 600 strength and then that's all you need, and then you just stack minion damage after that. You know me, I don't really like minion builds, but it's interesting. Spirit Reeve can now be used at all times, no longer requires an ancient spirit death. Reduced damage during the loading stage, mana cost is reduced. Spirit Bond, maximum base level is now 2. Ancestral Endurance, new passive. Upgrade Spirit Reeve, activates after using Spirit Reeve. Gain the melee devotion damage mitigation without losing the ability to summon. Base duration is 20 seconds. Range skills will be disabled. This does not stack with melee devotion. Requires level 30 and 20 points in Shaman tree skills. Max base level is 1. Interesting. Okay. Gives you some more survivability that could be very useful. Runemaster now also gives 2 to maximum res. Ooh, cool. That sounds like it's just base, though. So that's interesting. I like that. 2% max res is just cool. No longer gives innate elemental on Nephilim Spirit. Now gives physical res. And it applies to your spirits. Fix the bug, causing it to give less damage per base vitality. Okay. Gladiator's Dominance. Magic damage synergy on range skill tooltips. Now only displayed if you have the ultimate. Base block chance bonus now +6 up from +5. Okay, sure. Druid, nature, infected roots, damage increased, reduced mana cost. Cool. I don't know that poison druid really needed a buff, but it's probably going to help early on, and I'm sure late game that's going to make a big difference. The mana cost will help for leveling. Heartseeker weapon damage increased, Cascade weapon damage increased. Cool. Yeah, Hunter was like it was really strong when they reworked it, and then they nerfed it into the ground, so it's good to see that that's getting a good buff, like a significant buff. 30% weapon damage is crazy. Werebear Rend now triggers on attack, procs, and healing. Whoa. Increased AoE. Reduce Thorns lingering damage by 16% to reduce excessive single target. Okay, that's fair. Still cool though. The fact that it triggers procs now, that's interesting. Could do some cool stuff there. Were Owl increased attack speed can now reach 7 frames up from 8. Earth Talon's base duration is increased by 50% and increased the area of effect, although visually still the same. Ferocity now requires level 6. Charge Talons now requires level 9. Raid, renamed from Birdstorm. Okay. Increased base projectile by 33%. Wow. Now requires level 12. Egg Trap now requires level 24. Interesting. I think where I'll need this. It wasn't very strong before. And that base duration on Earth Talons is huge for the damage. Like, that's a big damage increase on Earth Talons. That's going to make it way better for clearing, and then it's also just going to give it like way more damage. That's cool. Werewolf, Twisted Claw, Mini Twister's duration is now shorter to reduce excessive single target. Yeah, fair. Howl of the Spirits, reduced base cooldown by 25%. Okay, not much changed. Mythal, fixed a bug causing it to be considered a curse. Necromancer, General, Bend the Shadows, cooldown increased. Slightly reduced teleport range. Okay. Malice, Dream Meter, base cooldown reduced by 50%. Alright. Melee Carnage now. Okay. Damage buff. Doubled flat magic damage on Parasite. Yo. That's cool. Reaper duration now 5 seconds, affected by continuity. Blight Descent, base duration 5 seconds. Death Lord re-added duration to skill description. Okay. Buckshot, reduced damage. Fragmentation is level 5, requires Buckshot. Level 10 requires Fragmentation. Widowmaker, increased base missile count. And the base weapon damage is down. Okay. Ignite's now level 30. Death Shard's now level 50, requires Widowmaker. Increased from... Wow, doubled the damage on Death Shards. Cool. Carrion Drain, halved life leech to Death Shards. Okay. Yeah, fair. Higher, doubled the damage, so half the life leech. So it's the same leech. Paladin Templar. Okay, this is Holy Melee. Retaliate now grants an additional 120% increase to bonus damage at character level 1, tapering down to 0 at character level 120. Okay. Base mana cost reduced from 3 to 1. Mana gain per level reduced by 9%. That's going to let you actually use Retaliate early on because you were always out of mana. That's like a big change. Weapon damage increased by 33%. Bonus fire damage reduced, though. Okay. Thus, bonus damage stays the same, but weapon damage has increased. This is a buff. Okay. So it's relying less on the bonus fire damage and more on your... Because of the increase of the weapon damage, the bonus fire damage based on that is reduced, but still higher than it was before. Weapon damage now 105 from 110. No longer has a cooldown. No longer gains magic damage with skill and base levels. That grants a buff. Buff gives bonus weapon fizz. Cool. Adds bonus damage to undead and demons per base level. Has the bonus damage from Holy Fire. Lionheart fixes skill giving IED. Less IED than... Okay. So that's... It's focusing it more on fizz damage now, which is interesting. Focuses the build a little better, getting rid of that magic damage as well. Incarnation, Dragon Jaws, damage at level 1 increased, endgame unchanged. Damage bonus from character level now caps at 145, up from 120, so it's around 23% more damage at max level compared to before. Annihilation, damage at level 1 increased. Okay, so early game Holy Caster is better now. And no unholy or neutral changes at all for Paladin. Sorceress Melee got some changes. Blade Storm, damage increased by 5%. Increased synergy. Oh, we get more. Okay. Interesting. Magic conversion now 90% at level 1, down from 95. Max conversion now 50%, down from 60. So more leeches. You're going to deal less magic damage, more physical damage, which means you're going to leech more, which is good. Fusillade, damage increase, cool. Cold-Blooded now adds dexterity as Cold Pierce. Oh, wow, that's actually really nice. Determination, new passive skill. Sacrifices elemental damage dealing capabilities to increase your defense. 30% of your average fire, cold, lightning damage is added as bonus defense. Deal no fire, cold, or lightning damage. Only allows the use of melee summoning buff. Yep. Fatal Focus, new passive skill. Increases your deadly strike at the cost of your maximum block chance. Grants deadly strike per base level. Grants lower max block chance per base level. Interesting. I don't like the... I'm not sure. Lightning, forked lightning damage. Damage at level increased by 150 and get... Okay, so early on, forked lightning's better damage, but we saw that with a lot of skills. So overall for class changes, these crossbow changes are interesting. Were Owl definitely needed the buffs. Same with Hunter. These seem small, but like that's a big change for Hunter, like a huge change for Hunter. Um, the Shaman rework seems interesting. I don't like minion builds, but I'm sure for people who do, a lot of Barbarian buffs and reworks here. We'll see how good they are. Um, the Poison Throw is interesting. I might check that out. And then obviously the Storm rework. So some cool stuff, like a lot of new build reworks and buffs this season. I'm a big fan. Okay, item only skills. Pentagram got buffed. Affix now requires character level 60 from 40. Searing Glow hits 5 times from 4. Sure. Avalanche, area effect, expansion requirement now. Okay. Hamstring and Clobber were removed. Cherubim. Ah, good. They nerfed Cherub. Oh, thank God. Cherub Paladin was one of the like strongest builds, and that nerf was needed because everyone played that shit, and I hated it. Death Star fixed a bug. Sure, Tantrum fixed a bug, causing the set to not function. Okay, halved the number of hits. I wonder if that's half the number of hits on Tantrum is a big nerf there. So, items miscellaneous replaced amulet ring quiver, mystic orb, the 1 life regen with 20 life. That's huge. That is huge. Previously, the only thing you really bothered putting on your rings and amulet were resistances, and if you had your res cap, you didn't really care about MOing them at all. Now you can pile on life onto all of them, and that's sick. That's a lot of extra life. Because we're talking, you can put 5 of these on, so that's 100 per slot. So that's an extra 300 flat life that you're getting to put on. And that's just like, that's a lot. So that adds up. Black Leech Blade now adds a lot of poison damage. Brain Hack, Death Gaze is now usable again. Fix the Magister is still having Apocalypse instead of Flame Front. About time. TRG is going to be mad when he sees this. He played as Caster Barbarian purely because Magister was going to have Flame Front. And then it just had Apocalypse instead, which was unusable. So made leveling rough. That was a fun playthrough. Zeray's Veil rebalanced for the new Storms on. Sure. Dream Swayer rebalanced for the new Storms on. Fixed a bug where tiered throwing axes were counting as two-handed weapons, not retroactive. Okay. Increased base damage for most scepters. Yes. That's awesome. Naginata WSM buff to 5 from 10. Okay. That's the weapon speed modifier. So Naginatas are faster now. That's cool. I wonder how that's going to affect their frames. I guess we'll have to see. Black, I believe that's WSM is weapon speed modifier, right? It's down to 5 from 10. So I don't know. We'll have to see what the breakpoints are, but the Black Dame requirements per tier are now okay. Charge Breaker remove minion stats and added block speed. Slain monsters rest in peace stat no longer has a visual effect and sound. Cool. So you can put rip on things. That's good. And not have to worry about the sound and effect, which is awful. Crystal of Tears removed health penalty. Biggest stackers were builds who could ignore this anyway. Level requirement now plus 20 up from plus 10. Corruption, there are now 5 shards to be made. Added all possible cube combinations that could add up to 3 crystals or less. Okay. Relics. The Queen of Blades Shred is now 50%. Eviscerate is a bonus projectile. Yeah, once again, another nerf to Javazon. Mythal replaced previous orange stat, which wasn't working. Now provides a double debuff duration of Mythal effect from 1 second to 2 seconds. Remove Magnetic Field and Thundercrack relics because they don't exist anymore. Added Discharge relic. Okay. Storm Call replace Storm Clash proc with 1% proc chance to connectivity, so lower lightning res. That's good. Titan's Fortitude description now accurate. Failing skill level is now always 1. Okay. Item affixes. Boots minimum faster run walk is now 10% up from 0. So boots will always have at least 10%. That's nice. Naginata removed a whole bunch of things. Hades Gate cooldown reduction removed. Bloodbath duration removed. Dual Pierce is now 25% of all elements instead of 2. Because you have Way of Raven now adding cold, so it's rather than it being lightning and fire, it's all. That makes sense. EWD affix now 51 to 100 from 31 to 80. Cool. Broadside cooldown reduction affix now 3 up from 2. Okay, so it's Naginata base weapon buffs. That's cool. Sacred uniques. Nat's Legacy design now requires 5 of each rune and essence down from 6. Nat's Legacy minimum elemental pierce roll increased from 3 to 10. Cool. Reworked stats on Lego domains. Cool Archon's Tempest. Are any of these ones that I'm actually going to care about? Stormblade is a Were Owl. Let's see. Azarath is now Vitality. Vitality bonus cold damage is up. That's cool. Vitality now grants 0.5 less maximum life point. Above changes are retroactive. Okay. Same damage then. Legion renamed to Legionnaire. Oh, Thunderhammer on striking. Slightly reduced added physical damage. Interesting. Stormhammer, renamed the Thunderbane, now adds effect Reckoning of Zerai double power shift bounce chance. 4% chance to trigger hammer time on kill. Adds flat lightning damage and pierce rather than physical damage and spellbind cooldown reduction. Doubled physical resist. Interesting. Piranha Swarm reworked for Scorpion Blade. New Sacred Unique Death Sentence replaces Eternal Bodyguard, increased rarity. New SSU Balanced Knife Sky Murder. Okay. Sets. This is what I'm really sad about. Witch Hunter's Attire, 2-piece Lightning Pierce bonus reduced. Sure. Full set no longer has Reanimate, now deals and now adds 20% Pierce to all LE. Thunderstorm, fixed full set bonus, orange text. Okay. Spirit of the Nephilim. Okay. Trickster. Yeah. Achilles Wake now gives Fire Pierce instead of Poison. EWD, increased EWD and added 10% move speed. Here's the part that's really sad. Storm's on Sec got reworked. 2-piece bonus, increased Lightning Pierce to 25%. Replaced Amazon skills with Spell Focus. 3-piece bonus, replaced Mana Steal with Physical Res. Replaced full set bonus. Zeray's Holy Wrath, Crushing Blow increased. Okay, now it adds energy. Redemption, replace Storm Eye Totem with 30% to combat speeds. Refinement has increased Amazon skills from 1 to 2. Dexterity now rolls from 75 to 100. Maximum damage replaced with cast rate. Zeray's Vindication replaced proc with minus 40% requirements. Replaced flat lightning damage with 1 to 2 Amazon skills. Reduced physical resist to 10%. So Storm's On got reworked, and then the Storm's On set was reworked specifically for the caster half of the Storm's On rework. So if we do weapon damage and go for hammer build, we can't use the set early to help us, so farming that won't be worth anything. So if we wanted to farm the set and use it, we'd have to go with the caster variant. So I don't know. The rest of this I think is all nothing too crazy. And then Rune Words, Pax Mystica now only requires tier. Cool. There was some new stuff for Storm's On, however. Artemisia's Authority, orange text now synergizes with the Hammer of Zerai. Life on Attack replaced with Life on Striking, so that Hammer of Zerai can get the Life on Striking. Because Hammer of Zerai is a weapon damage ability, it still gets on Striking and on Death Blow, but it doesn't get on Attack. So replacing, we don't get on Attack procs, but we do get on Striking procs. And then the proc is removed, so Yeah, this is reworked Artemisia's authority for Hammer of Zeray. Disturbance now converts Hammer of Zeray to 100% lightning, added flat vitality. Perfect Storm, physical magic spell damage changed to lightning spell damage. So this was originally physical magic for uh, Bloodzon, I believe, or for I believe it was intended for Bloodzon, but this was changed to lightning spell damage. So I don't know. It's we're gonna have to. That's it for these. I am curious, like, let's see, under game guide, characters, Amazon. No, actually, we want to do items, rune words, and is it a scepter rune word? Yes, it is. Ooh, Lowe's Light Core. Um, plus 4 to 5 damage per Hammer of Zeray base level. Block speed, hit recovery, max damage, light pierce, ED, deadly strike, life, physical res, life on striking. So if we were going to do the weapon damage build, this is probably what we'd want to go for. I don't think we have a Laws rune, but we can get a core rune no problem if we don't already have one, and same with a light rune. It would just be the Laws rune drop, but I don't think that would be too bad. What was the other one that was changed here? Let me pull this back. The other one was Disturbance. And it is an Amazon Helm. Let's see, 2 to 3 Amazon skill levels, block speed, flat damage added, enhanced defense, dexterity, flat vitality, max lightning res, life per kill, and magic find. It's Ortstone Yist. Yeah, well, we all know that I can never get a fucking Yist rune. I tried forever to get a Yist rune. And what was the other one? Perfect Storm. Which is an Amazon shield. 3 to 4 Amazon skill level, base block chance, spell focus, block speed, hit recovery, lightning spell damage, light pierce, enhanced defense, percent energy, max res, max light and cold res with. Okay, and 5. That's actually not bad. What's that? Thulert Light. It's meant for caster primarily because it's the lightning spell damage. We might end up doing. We're gonna do Stormzon. I just don't know if we're gonna do the weapon damage variant or if we're gonna do the caster variant. We'll have to take a look at it in game, but yeah, that's the patch notes. They seem pretty cool. I'm not happy about the set change. I wish it was for the hammer setup, not for the caster setup. But there's other cool stuff. The Stormhammer. Stormhammer could be an interesting one. Means we're going to get way better chance to bounce. The chance for hammer time on kill, I don't know. I'm not sure. And the flat lightning damage and pierce, obviously good, and the better physical res. Stormhammer could be very nice. I think we can take a look at it. Sacred Unique. Control F. Stormhammer. Stormhammer. It is the War Scepter Sacred Unique. This one is meant for. Well, this one's just like pure flat fizz stuff with EW. I mean, yeah, okay. So Battle Maiden would just be better, obviously. But Stormhammer, Reckoning is a double power shift. Yeah. Flat lightning, lightning pierce, ED, physical res, life on striking. Yeah. Both of these would be good options, obviously. For caster, dead legs. We'll have to see exactly what I have some. I think I have a Dead Lakes Lady um already, so we might be able to use that for caster. I'll have to take a look at some stuff, but I'll look a little more into it. We got 2 days, I think. I think we have 2 days until. Actually, I guess it's 1 a.m. now, huh? So Friday we'll have the new season. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Patch notes seem really good. I'm excited about a lot of these changes, especially like the Astroga change and the Fozd change. Those are all things that are just awesome. Um, yeah, I hope you guys are excited as I am. I'm really pumped to get back into things. If you enjoyed, leave a like, consider subscribing. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.